What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brandoh, and welcome to another episode of Bullshitting with Brandoh. Now, this one right here, we're going to be talking about starting a business with one of your best friends, with a coworker, with a family member like your brother or your cousin, something along those lines. Now, if you remember, about 2-3 weeks ago, I released a video talking about this same exact thing, about people playing their own position and stuff. And I see a lot of YouTubers be like, yeah, check out the video. I'm going to leave it right here. I don't know how to do all that. So what you're going to have to do is going to search for that video if you haven't seen it yet. But I think I posted it maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, and I talk about this same exact thing. But in this episode right here, I want to share some of my personal experiences that I've had with starting businesses with, friends, coworkers, family members, stuff like that. I know about this through personal experience, and that's why I made that video talking about some of the details that goes along with starting a business with a partner. You know what I mean? So early 2000s, one of my uncles, rest in peace, Uncle Glenn, hooked me up with one of his homies. So his homie was a club promoter. I don't know if they used to work together or if they did business together or if they just knew each other through mutual friends. I don't know how my uncle knew a club promoter, but he hooked me up. He was just like, hey, work with this dude, solid dude, get your foot in the door, get some of this money. So what I ended up doing was exchanging numbers with this dude, and he was like those club promoters where you would hit him up and then he'll get you on the guest list, or if you were having like a birthday party, he could get you bottle service and he'll like meet you at the front of the club, walk you in, all that stuff, right? So he was that type of promoter. He had a Wednesday night spot, Thursday night spot, and I believe Saturday night, because I started designing his flyers for him. So the club had their own set of flyers, and then him as a promoter, he used to run his own flyers. So it was a cool gig. That the hustle that he had going on was he would print up his own flyers, pass them out. Obviously it had the club's name on it, but it had all of his contact info on there. So guest list people and all that kind of stuff would hit him up, and then he'd be able to, do his thing. So I started out working with him by just designing club flyers for him, and then I started printing them for him maybe like a few months into us working together. So I hit him up. We started talking, we started working, we vibed really cool dude. And then I was going based off of my uncle's recommendation. He was going based off of my uncle's recommendation on myself, right? So obviously he was doing me a solid, because my uncle, he was like, hey, I'll give your nephew a shot. And then I was going towards him like, all right, my uncle co-signed for you, so you got to be a solid dude. My uncle used to do his thing in the street, so he was a solid dude all around. So that's why I took his word for what it was. So we started working together. I started designing flyers. Like I said, I'm a really light hack of a graphic designer. I'm not necessarily a real graphic designer. I just know how to piece some things together and know how to use a few tools, right? So that's what I did. And these are old school flyers where it's like on cardstock. It's UV coated on both sides. Usually there's like a picture of a chick on there. Really flashy fonts and a lot of gradients and crazy coloring and all that stuff, right? So I used to make those flyers for him, right? It would have his Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday spots on there. On the back had all his info, how you could get in contact, where the clubs were at. One was in Long Beach, 2 of them were in downtown LA. So I'm designing his flyers, and then I'm like, yo, I know a print shop that could print these out for you, UV coat them, a lot cheaper than what you're paying. So I would middleman the printing for them, and then obviously I'd take a small cut off of it too. So say if the print shop is charging me, 50 cents a print, I'm charging him $1 a print, something like that, right? I can't remember what the actual numbers were, but so he would be like, all right, give me 4,000 flyers for this week. Boom, knock it out, get all the flyers ready to go. And then I would print them. I would design them. I would send him an email with what they look like. He would proofread it, okay it. I'd get them printed, and then I'd deliver them. So I'd have them in his hand by, I think, like Monday night or something like that. So every Monday night for, 7-8 months, I would meet up with this dude and we'd chop it up, right? We obviously formed like a really cool working relationship. We would just talk business at first, and then we started just talking shop. Then it'd be like, he knew I did clothes, he knew I did screen printing. So one night we're just talking, and he's like, "Yo, this big brand is gonna be hosting a party at the club. You should come out. Maybe you could slap hands with some people and try to get your foot in the door, right?" So I said, "Yo, man, that's cool. Works with me." So I go to the club for the party. It's a very, very big party, and obviously it's a popular streetwear brand that's throwing this party. I meet the owners, but it wasn't nothing like, oh man, life changing. You know what I mean? It was just slap hands, what's up, what's up. That was it. Nothing came about that. So after that night, anytime any kind of let's say like celebrity or something, that whoever I was putting on the flyer that was supposed to be at the club that night, he would be like, "Hey, shoot me one of your shirts," and I'll wear it, under my blazer coat or whatever, because he would get kind of dressy for his job. So he'd be like, "Shoot me a black shirt with that design. I'll wear it at the club, just to get in the background of like some paparazzi pictures, or if he could get, pictures with some of these celebrities wearing the clothes." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man." So I would, press up the shirts, shoot it to him. He'd rock them at the club, and then it worked that same exact way, right? I would have all these crazy pictures floating around because of paparazzi photos, or if he took pictures with some celebrities, maybe he's in the VIP with them, he would actually get some pictures wearing the shirts, which was cool promo for myself, right? So, like I said, 7-8 months go by. I'm still doing flyers for him, printing them. We have this thing going on. Then he approaches me and says, "Hey, man, we get some good traction with your shirts. It'd be cool if we could get, some of the waitresses in some of the shirts. Maybe we'll cut them up, like give them to his homegirl. She'll cut them up and make them all girl friendly. And then some nights, like, Wednesday nights, obviously it's not as popular as the Saturday nights, but Wednesday nights we'll have the girls wearing your stuff. Is that cool with you?" Yeah. So we start working it that way. Now his brain is thinking like, "Oh man, like running a brand should probably easy, I could do all kind of stuff, promote it through the clubs and make some money." So what he ends up doing is approaching me and saying, "Hey, we should do a brand together. You do the printing, I'll do all the marketing and all that, and it'll be a good working relationship. We'll make some decent money." Obviously, the idea of being in the club and getting girls to wear it, and his thing was he was going to shoot some shirts to some of his celebrity clientele and get some good product placement photos. And in my head, early 2000s, I'm thinking, "Hey, this is going to be cool, man. We're going to, we'll really, really make some money off of going from doing flyers together to actually going into business together." I looked at them as, you got your foot in the door with all these clubs. This will be an easy call. So I say, "Yeah, let's do it, man." So we start getting things going. We start putting names together. We start thinking of different designs and all that. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'll leave all the creative stuff to you. You leave all the marketing to me. We'll be good to go." You know what I mean? So I'm like, "All right, bet, man. Let's get it going." So I start sketching stuff up. I run it by him. He's down with everything that I'm coming up with. And then we print up some shirts. And I think we did like 3 or 4 just to start out with. And they did good, right? It wasn't crazy, but we sold some, right? So we made some money. Obviously, we have a ton of promo footage because he has the girls wearing them in the club. He's giving them the bouncers wear at the club. He's all over the place. And then when he does the downtown LA clubs, he has a lot of people wearing them. A lot of his clientele coming in wearing them. So he has good photos of it. So all the footage is great. He's holding up his end. I'm holding up my end because I'm doing all the printing and designing. And we're breaking even. I'll say that, right? So investment wise on blank t-shirts and stuff like that, we're breaking even. So he wants to take it to the next level, right? He's thinking cut and sew. He's thinking all this stuff. We haven't even made a lot of money yet, but his brain is already thinking like, "Oh, we really got to start knocking this stuff out." And I understand how exciting things like that could be. You know what I mean? At that point, I already had ran a few brands, some good, some not so good. So I knew the feeling, right? I knew what he was feeling. I felt good because we just had all this promo footage of people wearing the clothes, and it was cool. So then we start just thinking of more designs, and he's like, "Oh, maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do a big back design." And I'm like, "All right, cool, man. I'll work on some back design stuff." And then that's where the creative differences started to flow in, right? Because now he's telling me what he thinks would sell good, and I'm thinking of, all right, I'm supposed to be the creative guy, you're supposed to be the marketing guy. So now that he's giving me art direction and stuff like that for designs, Now I'm like, man, that's a dumb idea, right? There's some things that he's saying where I'm like, oh, that shit's kind of corny, man. Like this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? So when I tell him like, oh man, that's a bad idea, that's not gonna look cool, or print wise that wouldn't look good. Now he's like, nah, just do it, man. It'll work. This and that. Now, mind you, both of our money's gonna be tied up in it, right? Because we're going half on the blank shirts, and then I'm printing them, so obviously it's not that much. Paying for the ink, but not much. Labor wise, I'm not even charging for my labor at this time because it's my own brand. So our money's being tied up in some shirts that now I don't feel 100% confident in selling, and I'm just almost doing stuff to keep him happy because he's fired up about this stuff, right? So it's no longer a real partnership. It's more like me just working for him because he has all these ideas. And then when I put some ideas together, he's like, nah, that's not the direction we should go. We should be doing this, like these big prints on the front and back, or we should be doing prints on the sleeve. It's like, man, this stuff is... that's not the brand. What I had in mind for what the brand was going to be isn't what the direction that he was going in, right? So now you have somebody that said that we're just going to be doing the marketing, now trying to get into the creative side of things, and he's just throwing out ideas. So now we're wasting a lot of money on printing a ton of shirts that he thinks are good, but we're not moving those, right? Those aren't selling. So his thing is, well, we'll just think of more ideas then, right? He's not even worried about what's stocked and what's already pre-printed and the money we have tied up in these shirts. He's just thinking, all right, these shirts didn't work. Let's try this new idea. Oh, I had a new idea last night at the club. Let's do this. I seen some guy wearing a shirt like this at the club. Maybe we could do something like that. That's where his mind's going. So now he's just spitballing ideas, and every idea he has, he thinks is a home run of an idea. It's really not, right? So now we're just burning money, and now we have racks and racks of shirts that we cannot move because they're dumb ideas. So I tell him like, yo, man, like we got to slow down. These ideas are crap, man. Like we're not making no money. We're not selling nothing. So he starts blaming the graphic design. He starts blaming the print, not necessarily taking responsibility for himself, right? So I'm like, yo, man, this shit ain't going to work out. Just give me my cut of the money. I'll give you all of the shirts, and we'll split up. You know what I mean? Like we'll just end it right here. What he does is he goes to my uncle. And he tells my uncle, oh, man, your nephew's trying to burn me, doing bad business, blah, blah, blah. I never even thought about going to my uncle because I'm the one that formed this relationship with this dude. I'm the one that got into business with dude for doing this brand together. So I was going to handle it on my own. And then when he went to my uncle, he gave my uncle just his side of the story. So then my uncle hits me. I was like, yo, man, why you burning this dude? Like, what the hell's going on? So I tell him. And then I just said, hey, man, he just wants to do a lot of shit that I don't believe in, and we're not making no money, so I just want to get out. So my uncle's like, yeah, you're right. It's cool. Don't even worry about it. Don't even sweat this dude. I'll tell him what's up. So he ends up hitting him up and kind of fights the fight for me, which I really do not like because for myself, I like to stand on my own 2 feet. So after my uncle does that, the dude comes back and says, oh, you got to have your uncle, press me for the money and this and that. I said, nah, man, I would have did it on my own. I meet up with him. I get my half of the money. I give him all the shirts. It was like 4 big-ass boxes full of shirts of the crappy designs that he wanted to do. He's like, yeah, I'm going to start my own, I'm going to do it on my own, this and that. I don't need your help no more. I already found a screen printer, found a graphic designer. I said, all right, it's all good, man. Go ahead. Do your thing. No hard feelings. I'm out. You know what I mean? So after we call it quits and everything is done, maybe like 2-3 months after that, he hits me up. He's like, yo, man, I need you to design something for me because the graphic designer didn't work out. I'll pay you just for the graphic design portion of things. We won't be partners. We won't be, it won't be your brand. It's just I'm paying you for your graphic design skills like we were doing with the flyers. I said, all right, cool, man. So I said, I'm just going to need the money up front. You know what I mean? Maybe give me half up front and then the other half on delivery. So he's like, all right, cool. We work it out. We come up with a decent price. And he's still going after these dumbass ideas. But now there's none of my money's tied up in them. So I don't even have to tell him like that's a dumb idea or that's a good idea. I'm just creating whatever he's talking about, right? And from that point, that's all our relationship was just me being a graphic designer for him and his crazy ideas. That went on for like 2 years. He still kept going. He kept dumping money into it, and he kept trying to get it off the ground. It never went off the ground. I still designed for them. I still made money off of them. I just did not print or go into actual business with them ever since, because he started from going from the marketing guy to try to being the creative guy, and he didn't play his position. The partnership did not work. I'm not saying I could have made that brand be better than what it was, but I know a lot of the ideas that he was throwing out sucked, man. I said, man, ain't nobody buying that crap. So I got out while I could. I broke even. I didn't make a ton of money off that deal. I'm glad I got out, but at the same time, I made way more money just being his graphic designer. So that, like, when I talk about playing your position, knowing your role within the partnership, it makes sense, because if you have too many people in the kitchen trying to make some shit, man, it's just going to be fucked up. You just got to let the person do their thing. You know what I mean? So if you're just going to be chopping onions, you just chop onions. You don't even worry about seasoning. You don't worry about sauteing the shit. You're just the dude chopping. That's it. You know what I mean? So if you play your position, the partnership works. You know what I mean? And another good example of this is I went into business with a coworker, right? This is maybe right before 2010. Maybe this is like around 2008 or 9 or something like that. My coworker hits me up and he's like, yo, man, my girlfriend noticed that it's pretty easy to make decals, right? And then also said, when you go to the swap meet where they buy decals from, they're selling them for like $6 to $8 per decal, right? So he said, hey, how hard is it to make decals? It's easy, man. You know, at the time I had a cutter. I had the GCC Expert at the time. So I was like, oh, all you do is you just buy the vinyl, you send it through the cutter, load up the design, cut it out, put the backing tape on, you cut it down to size, whatever you need, right? So he's like, all right, cool, man. Like, since you already got the cutter, you know how to do it. We should go into business together, right? We should start this business. So I said, all right, man, I'll hear you out. He's just like, all right, you know, my wife's been seeing all these flower designs and all these girly type designs, right? Like, it'd be cool just to get some of those going and then sell them. And I said, hey, man, I'll just be the production side of things, right? All I'll do is not necessarily graphic design, but I'll cut the designs out. I'll do all the labor for it, and then you do all the selling, you do all the marketing, you do everything else. He's all right, cool, man, that's cool. So I said, I'm going to charge you for the rolls of vinyl that I use. So if I buy 10 yards, you own that 10 yards. I won't cut nothing else out on that 10 yards. And then from there, I'll just charge you for my labor of me cutting the designs out and putting the backing tape and all that, right? He said, all right, cool, man. So I do like some hibiscus, I do roses, I do all these flower designs for them, different sizes. Obviously I'm getting the decal vinyl at $1 a yard. I don't tell them I'm getting it for that. I'm telling them like $5 a yard, so I'm making some money off of there. My labor is built into the cutting and the weeding, and a lot of the designs that he wants are just real basic stuff, right? It's not nothing detailed, but then also it's all girl stuff, right? I think the most detail that he did was he started doing the little family decals. You know, the ones where it's like the mom, the dad, the 3 kids, the dog. You see it on the back of like minivans and stuff like that. He got into that, right? So he started doing some of those. I said, that's cool, man. I can knock those out for you, not a problem. So we start getting going, and we're working together fairly good, right? We're just doing the girl stuff, and he's giving me the, all right, I need some more roses, or I need some more hibiscus flowers. I need the 3 hibiscus for the corner car decal window. I need some of those. All right, cool, man. So I'm banging them out, doing it. And then I ask him, how are sales going, right? And he's like, oh, man, they're moving. It's cool. And then at a point, it plateaus. It kind of stops. He's only doing so many at a time. And they're doing like kind of like Tupperware parties, I guess you could say, where him and his wife would go to somebody's house and then bring like a folder. You remember like when you used to collect like baseball cards and basketball cards? You would have those little sleeves where you put your cards in. He had a folder like that, but it was all the decals, right? So they would go to somebody's house and have like a little party and then be like, yeah, we got all these decals, and people would buy the decals. So their little hustle was cool. I had no part of that. All I would do is cut the decals for them. They would go out and sell them. So I'm like, yo, man, like doing this girl stuff is cool, man, but I think it would be better if you did some more manly shit. I was doing like guns. I thought it would be cool to do like silhouettes of like a Glock and silhouettes of a Beretta, silhouettes of like standard AR, stuff like that. Like, I was thinking for if you were doing these parties, it wouldn't just be geared to girls, it'd be geared towards girls and guys, and you can make more money, right? I did a bad deal, or I did a bad thing by stepping out of bounds and offering my creative advice to somebody where I just said I was just going to be the production company, right? So I started on a bad foot by even saying that kind of stuff to him, right? So he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, you know, entertained it for a little bit. I was like, oh, we could do baseballs, we could do all kind of stuff, man. Like, there's more stuff outside of flowers. Obviously the flower thing is moving for them, right? They're doing good. I'm just getting bored and I'm not seeing the vision of what they're doing at the time. I'm just like, yo, man, like if you're doing flowers, you might as well do some stuff for guys too. So I get into his head, obviously, and he's like, oh yeah, you know, guns would be cool. Like doing, like I said, the Glocks, the Berettas, ARs, all that stuff. It was a good idea. Well, he started to think it was a good idea. So, all right, cool, man. I'll cut those out for you, knock them down. Obviously, I'm using his vinyl, right? That was the agreement, that I'd buy the vinyl and just use it for his stuff. So I started knocking down, you know, a bunch of different guns, but I'm doing like 40 of each gun that I'm doing, and I give it to him, right? With the flowers, with the little kid ones, all that stuff. So he's like, yo, there's a lot of guns. I said, hey, man, they're going to move, man. Like, you take them, you keep doing whatever you're doing, but now you have a male audience that you could sell to, and it's all good. So he's like, all right. Takes them, puts them in his little folder or whatever, goes out, and they don't sell. They like, I thought they were gonna sell, man. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a no-brainer, right? If girls are buying flowers, the dude's gonna be there, the husband's be there. Like, oh shit, man, let me get that gun. Didn't work out that way, man. So he had all these guns that he couldn't sell. In my head, I'm like, all right, man, maybe you're just not selling to the right people. So I'm thinking of like other things that I could be doing. So I'm thinking of skulls. I'm thinking of just like any other manly type of thing that would work to get the male audience. So I feed it to him. He believes in the idea, and I cut out a ton of stuff for him again. And then it's like, oh man, I'm wasting up all their vinyl because I'm just doing my own ideas, thinking of what's going to work. I don't know their audience. I don't know the clientele. I've never been to their parties that they do. So I honestly don't know who they're selling to. So I'm stepping out of bounds like crazy now, where I'm just feeding them all this extra nonsense. Then his wife gets mad, right? She's like, hey, why are we spending money on the guns and the skulls and all this other stuff when it's not even selling? And my ego is so big where I'm like, I know it's got to sell. Something's got to hit. I keep feeding him with all these different ideas. And he's believing in them, and he's listening, and it sounds like a good idea to him. So he tells me to run it. When I run it, they don't sell. Then his wife gets involved, and his wife's like, yo, you gotta tell, like, stop with the guns, stop with the skulls. Just stick with the little family, the flowers, all that stuff. Whatever we've been doing, let's just stick with that and not try to do anything else. And then when he tells me that that's what his wife said, I get mad, man. I fly off the handles mad. Like, we're at work, like me and him work together, right? We're in the office. I'm like, yo, man, fuck your wife, man. Like, that's how mad I'm getting because she doesn't believe in my vision, and it's not even my business. I'm the production side of the house. Like, all I'm doing is the manual labor. It's their business. And I drive a weird wedge in between this weird partnership that's between me and my coworker, and then my coworker and his wife, right? So now my ideas to him, right? Now it fires me up to just shoot off more ideas to him. Like, yo, man, you got to be doing this. Like, this would work way better. Like, fuck the flowers, fuck the family. I'm not even thinking of the business. I just want to prove the wife wrong, right? That's where my head's at, and I know that's bad, and I know that's it was horrible, right? I know that now, but at the time, I'm just fired up. Like, yo, man, like, forget your wife, man. She don't know what she's talking about. This is what we got to do, man. Like, this is what sells. This is popular. This is cool. This is what you got to do. So he brings these ideas to his wife, and his wife's shooting them all down, and comes back like, nah, we don't want to do those. Now we're not going to do the guns. And I'm like, man, fuck your wife. Let's do the guns. Like, it got to the point where he had to say, yo, man, we can't work with you no more. My wife's just going to buy a cutter. We're just going to be doing stuff on our own. And that's how it ended, right? Like, to save me and my coworkers' friendship and relationship at work, we had to cut ties, and it was because of me. Like, it wasn't nobody else. Like, obviously I know how partnerships work, but my ego got the best of me at that time, and I was just like, yo, like, forget what anybody says. I just wanted to prove her wrong. And I was just throwing out ideas because I wanted to prove her wrong. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Never worked out that way because I didn't know their clientele. I didn't know the decal business like they did. I didn't know how their parties worked. I didn't know how they were selling and making money. I was clueless to all that. I just thought I had $1 million ideas, and I was lost, man. So if you are thinking about doing some kind of partnership, working with your friend, your coworker, your cousin, your brother, your sister, whoever it is, if you're going to form some kind of partnership, it's always good to get it in writing and have a clear understanding early on before you guys even start any kind of business and get any kind of money involved. Know what each person's going to do. And then each person has to stick to that role. You know what I mean? That's the only way it'll work. If you guys start, everybody's a creative guy now. Everybody's the marketing guy. Everybody has a vinyl cutter now. It's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be too many people doing too many of the same thing. And then creative differences happen. And then one guy's going to think, hey, man, my idea is better than this person's idea. Or whatever it is. There's no compromise. There's nothing that's going to come about that's going to be profitable for the business. So make sure you get it in writing. Have a clear understanding with your partner if you do decide to get a partner in this business. That way, things will run smoothly. You know what I mean? Hopefully, my fuck-ups and my mistakes help you guys. You know what I mean? I want to make these mistakes so you guys don't have to make them, all right? Appreciate you guys for watching or listening. And if you have a similar situation, or if you went through something like that or currently going through something like that, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram, Big Brandoh TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.